Hi guys, I'm Stephen Green from the Property Investment Academy, and today I'm going to talk into my latest project and how you can structure a deal by putting no money down into the deal, and how I gained over £450,000 without actually doing any work. Let me just say that again. £450,000 without doing any work, and I'm going to show you exactly how I done that. So recently there was an old derelict nightclub and a gymnasium. I used to actually go to that nightclub when I was 18 years old, and I used to train in the gym as well, which was on the first floor. Now that building originally had been on for around about £600,000-700,000. It then dropped to around about 500,000. It went off the market for quite a while. I was keeping an eye on it. It came back on at £300,000. Now at this point I was ready to do projects of that size. So now it really had my attention, because this was a 25,000 square foot building for £300,000. So what I done was I then put an offer in, and we had the offer agreed at £200,000. So that was the purchase price. PP, purchase price, that was the £200,000 that we agreed. Now, what I've done with this is I use a creative strategy. So I put an option in place, and I secured the building by only putting down £10,000. That was done with an option. So what this basically means, it's a conditional sale. So I place this down as part of the deposit, and that means that as long as I don't pull out of the deal and I don't get planning, I can get this money back. So what we're trying to do here is I'm trying to put planning permission on this building, and the £10,000 is to secure the building. Now, if I was to pull out for any reason, change my mind or anything like that, I would lose this £10,000. Now, what that does is it shows my commitment level to the seller. So it's saying that, look, I'm a serious buyer. I'm willing to put £10,000 down now. And if I mess you about at all, then you keep my £10,000. Now, the option, the conditional sale was, that is on condition that I get planning permission. So if I don't get planning permission, then I'm allowed to get my £10,000 back. So this building had been on the market for around about 12 years in total. So a long time. No one wanted to buy the building because it was a huge building, 25,000 square foot, and it takes a serious developer to convert a building of this sort of magnitude. So when I come along and I put this offer to them, they now know that they've got somebody serious wanting to buy the property. So my £10,000 goes down. Now you might say, well, you've had to find £10,000. I actually used this from a JV partner. So I got somebody else to put in the £10,000. I knew that I wasn't going to pull out. I already knew that we were very likely to get planning, because I'd already had my 1 hour planning consultation meeting with the planning department and my architect. This building was one of the #1 buildings in Redcar that the council wanted to see converted. As long as I wasn't turning it into a pink elephant, the planning was pretty much going to go ahead. So we put down the £10,000 and now get my architect to do some drawings. The architect does the drawings. It went through planning, and the planning was accepted. Now I just want to show you something. So this here is a RICS approved valuation, and this valuation was done on the 2nd of January 2018, and the building was valued at £200,000. So that was the price that I paid for it. It was valued at the £200,000. Now my second document, let me just show you this one. This was the second valuation. This valuation was done in the October. So this is roughly 9 and a bit months later. And the valuation now has gone up to £675,000. So it's jumped from 200,000 to £675,000 by me putting planning permission on the building. Because when the building's developed, you can see you've got something called a GDV, which is gross development value, and that whole building will be worth £2,100,000 once I've converted it as accordance to the planning that we've had done on it. So it's gone from 200,000 now to £675,000. Now in total for me, the costs with getting the drawings and bits like that, they cost me roughly 25 grand. And again, I brought a joint venture partner in, so I didn't use any of my own money to carry that out at all. The gain on that, so from roughly £25,000 worth of costs, meant that I gained around about £450,000 from getting this planning accepted on this building. That's the uplift in the price of the building. Now, I use this technique, and I've done this on a few occasions where I'll get an uplift in planning and I'll just flip it on, because that building there, I could literally now sell it on and make myself 450 grand. Or I could sell it on for a quick sale and make 350 grand, and I've not actually done any work at all to this building. I've not even put a spade in the ground. The reason it took 9 months is because there was quite a lot of plans involved in it due to the size of the building. Now, you don't need to do something at this level. You can start off with basic things, so little commercial units where you're not having to put as much down on the option, costs nowhere near as much to get the planning permission and things like that. So you maybe all your costs in there would be around about 5,000 or 6,000 instead of the 25,000 which it cost me due to the size of the building. So what I want to show you now is how we can structure that entire deal without putting any money into it. So this now is the MV, which is the market value. So this is what that building is now worth with planning permission. So what I can do now, I can get really creative. I can get bridging finance at 75% of the market value. So I can basically get 75% of this figure. So if you want to work that out now, and you'll see that roughly that's going to be round about £450,000 for ease of maths. So keeping the figures simple, I know it's not exactly 450,000, but I want to keep the figures simple so it's easier for me to explain to you. So I can get 75% of this figure here, meaning now the bridging company will release 450,000. I've put £10,000 down already, meaning there's 190,000 outstanding. So the 450,000 I've got released now, I release 190 to pay for the rest of the purchase price, which means it leaves me with round about 250 grand to now renovate the building. For ease of maths, I want to keep the figures simple again. So roughly 250 grand's worth of money to put into that building. So I now place the 250 grand into the building. I'm increasing its value. Now I want you to think of this now. If I'm putting 250,000 into that building, what do you think the likelihood is of that building going up? It's going to go up at least the 250,000, if not more. Now what we do then is, because we've got an uplift in the price again, and now remortgage against that figure, so I can get a second loan against that in bridge and finance, and I basically structure it all the way until we've got to the end of the project. So that's how I was able to gain 450,000 approximately from this deal, and how I'm able to structure a deal without any money down at all. The only money I needed to find was the money for the option and the money for my planning permission. So on a project that's worth 2.1 million, I only needed to find roughly £35,000, which I was able to do from joint venture finance. So that's one of the creative strategies that I teach, how to break that down, how to structure deals like that. So if you have a look around this link, you'll see more videos like this, some great content of how I use creative strategies. If you've got benefit from this video, like it, share it, drop me a comment, and I'll endeavour to get back to you straight away with an answer. And hope to see you soon on another training video. Thank you, Stephen.